What you are about to hear might just keep you up tonight. Welcome to Hauntcore Vault. So, I was in the 5th or 6th grade, hanging out with a friend at his parents' new house that they just finished building. We are in his family-attached 3-car garage, looking through boxes from his room in his old house, though I can't recall what we were looking for, when he turns to me and says, "Want to see something crazy?" He goes and takes a tennis ball from one of those clear tubes they come in and proceeds to give it a couple tries before successfully throwing it through the crawlspace door that leads to a storage space above the garage we are in. I clearly hear it bounce around and stop. I don't think anything about it, and we continue looking through the boxes in his garage. We are talking to each other when all of the sudden a tennis ball comes fucking flying through the air and smacks the back wall of the garage right between us as we are standing over a box. We both bolted from his garage and went to his room on the other end of the house. He later explained to me that at their old house, located across the street from the recently built new house we're in, had a ghost in the attic that liked to move things around, as in keep things tidy. He said in the past that you could hear the boxes being slowly slid on the floor, ceiling above you, or that you would place something in one place and check on it later and it was in a completely different place in the attic. He believed that the ghost followed them to their new home. All I know is the tennis ball experience freaked the hell out of me, and I refused to ever go back into their garage. Some facts. He was the youngest of 2 siblings, and his older brother was away at college. His dad was at work, and his mom had left us alone to go to the store. There was no one else at his house. Even if there was someone in that crawl space above their garage, you would have easily heard them walking around. My nephew lives with me in an old farmhouse built in the 1840s. When he was about 4, maybe 5, he told me that there was a little boy named Charlie who lived in our house. He said Charlie had never heard of video games and that Charlie's dad left him home all by himself. This was around the same time that he had an imaginary friend named Mr. Cat, who was an anthropomorphic cat, so I wrote it off. A couple weeks later, I was shaving with the bathroom door open and thought I could see my nephew kind of looking in at me out of the corner of my eye. I stuck my head around and could see him from behind messing with an old china cabinet we keep important stuff in. And just as I walked into the room, I could see my nephew sitting in the living room watching TV. He couldn't have crossed that much distance that fast or silently. I asked him about it, and he said, "Oh yeah, that was Charlie. He says there's a really super book in there from when you were a little boy. And at the bottom of a stack of old documents and stuff in the china cabinet is a book I got as a gift when I was a kid. I didn't even know it was there. It was under 2 boxes of documents and couldn't been seen until the boxes were lifted out." The little boy didn't look like you think of ghosts. He wasn't transparent. He didn't float. He didn't look spooky. He just looked like a kid. Now I'm convinced that people see ghosts, or whatever they are, every day and don't realize it because they look just as real as we do. I haven't been able to find any information on people who lived here in the past. My grandparents bought the home in 1967. I asked my grandmother about it, and she said she wasn't surprised I saw Charlie in the bathroom at all because I was little, I played with a little boy I said was named Homer, and Homer would unroll all the toilet paper when nobody was home. I've never seen her, but there's also a woman ghost who appears to be in her mid-20s with long brown hair. I have no idea why I've never seen her, but a couple other family members, some friends of the family, and several members from the work crew that remodeled our home saw her a couple years ago. This was about 10 years ago, but still gives me chills just thinking about it. My now ex-wife and I had just gotten married and moved into a new neighborhood. We moved in the winter. As spring came, we noticed there were multiple dead animals, birds, squirrels, raccoon, in the yard. We cleaned them all up and started to do improvements to the outside of the house and painting on the inside. I started to notice strange things going on. Keys not where I left them, stuff like that, small. I thought I was just being forgetful. Then things slowly started to escalate. While in bed, I could swear I could hear a barely audible conversation, like a radio in a far room. As soon as I would try to focus on it, it would go away. I started to hear footsteps at the other end of the house. One night, while laying in bed, I hear a huge crash woke me up out of dead sleep. I went into the kitchen and saw my kid's hamster cage on the floor, about 15 feet from where it was. We would put it on the fridge at night because we had a cat and didn't want it getting to it. Now I know what you're thinking. Cat knocked it off. But this cage had to fly over a breakfast bar and a kitchen table to get to its resting place. Then things got ugly. I would be sitting at home watching TV, and I would have this uncontrollable thought. What would it be like to be possessed? Or, I want to be possessed. I couldn't get this thought out of my head. Couldn't concentrate on anything but that. I would literally have to say in my head, I love God, I love Jesus, over and over to get off the original thought. I need to add that I am not a religious person. As soon as I would leave the house, I would be fine, not one thought. But as soon as I pulled in my driveway, it would start up again, uncontrollable. I thought I was going crazy. I sat down with my wife and looked her dear in the eyes and said, I think I'm going crazy. I've been having weird thoughts. She turned white, and before I could say any more, she said, That you want to be possessed? Come to find out, for the past month, she had been having the exact same thoughts. Then we started to compare stories. She told me that she was laying in bed without me, I worked seconds at the time, and she could hear a man whispering through the baby monitor while our child was fussing. Needless to say, we moved out within the month, ate the deposit. Her oldest daughter was still in school, and we had moved across town. I had to pick her up at that house on my days off when she got dropped off by the bus. As soon as I turned the corner, I would get those thoughts. I would sit in my car in the driveway and not even go inside and wait. I think something tried to possess me. Noped the fuck out.